Hello, everyone. It's time to do a little bit of an update. What I've been up to. I've been thinking about what games I might play while we wait for New World to come out, etc. Yeah, well, we all know why. New World's just a complete crap show right now. The numbers on on my server, Dallas, which is the Australian servers, have dropped so much. So they're now peaking at 450 people. And that 450 peak is only 2 hours when the wars are on at night time. Usually it'll be like, 350 or less. The same problem, not the same problem, the problem is that it's always the same people as well. So every time you go into OPR, it's just the same people over and over, which I find really boring. And it's also just full of 5-mans because everyone's too afraid to go in and play an OPR by themselves. Everyone just needs a pocket healer and 4 other DPS to back them up when they get themselves in trouble. And so I've just found OPRs just getting more and more annoying. I can only kind of play for an hour or 2 of them before I'm just like spent. And I guess the Iron Man kept me going for a little bit, but the idea of doing an Iron Man when I know I'm going to be re-rolling a new character, and the game's sort of coming to a slow decline, perhaps death, just seems pointless. And it's a long wait, 3 or 4 months before the console release. So I do want to play New World again. I just don't want to do it right now. I think I need a bit of a break, so it's time to try another game. So did a poll to see what you all thought, and interestingly, what you chose kind of coincided with what I was hoping to try. WoW was appealing because it has really good arena, but it just seems so dated. I played it a little while before, and it is a good game, but I don't know, I just cannot get into it. I can't mentally just get into it. Yeah, and it just seems a little bit too like, it's like whoever blows your cooldowns the last is the person who's gonna win, if you know what I mean. If you've played it, you'll get what I mean. I don't know, I want some kind of action combat, which WoW just doesn't have. Albion appealed. Albion seems like the kind of game I should really get into, and I've heard great things about it, and people keep saying try it. But those graphics and that MOBA, I'm just not a fan of MOBAs. There's still a little part of me that keeps wanting to try it, and I think I will kind of see me play in the background to see if it grabs me. But right now I'm just ruling it out. And then I forgot to put in GW2. Oh, Black Desert, sorry. Black Desert. It's just such a grind, right? We all know it. Even though they've done bits to kind of reduce the grind, it's still a massive grind and investment in time. And I feel like most of your time will be spent just running around grinding and not actually PvPing. So we ruled that out pretty quickly. GW2 I forgot to put in. Guild Wars 2 I forgot to put in. But I should have, because it's a good game, and it's probably one of the strongest ones I'm interested in playing. Mainly because I have played it before. Like, I've played it when it first came out, and it has that big open world PvP map where the factions fight each other, which appeals to me a lot, and I thought it would be cool, except there's another game that does that better, and that is ESO. So New World was always going to win, because obviously I do New World videos, but even having said that, the votes were way lower than I expected, like close to 50%. Everyone chose ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, which I'm very surprised about, but kind of happy, because it's the game that I was kind of hoping would win. Previously, the big issue with ESO, when we'd played it, because I've played ESO on and off for many years. I've played that game more than probably any other game, and I love it. But the biggest issue I had with it was that it's just got such bad lag. It used to have really bad server lag, which was bad in and of itself, but it also, being in New Zealand and then having to ping American servers, because the servers are in America, also meant that I had that lag to deal with as well. So it was like distance lag plus server lag, resulted in, if I was literally standing in front of someone, and in the PvP, I could be literally standing in front of them and they're not moving, and I'm swinging my weapon at them, and it would just be hitting air. So, because you know the difference, because if you hit them, it makes a sound, and if it doesn't, it's just like this, like swinging away at nothing. So it's like, that was just the most frustrating thing, because it was very hard to actually do combat when you couldn't hit your opponent. So me and I often duo up with Leos Painfera or Jackal Painfera. Let's just call him Jack. Whoever knows his name is Jack. And we always said to each other, like, the ultimate game, even in New World, we were kind of like, the ultimate game for us, you know, if we could just have our way, would be ESO with no lag. But that was just a pipe dream. So, but that was kind of like, that would be the end goal, right? And the reason that is because of Cyrodiil. Cyrodiil, I've never experienced PvP like I have in Cyrodiil. Although, well, actually, that's not technically true. GW2 does something similar, as I've already mentioned, but it's a lot more scaled down than what is in ESO. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar, in Cyrodiil, you have it's a whole massive PvP zone, huge. It would take you on a horse that goes at a rapid pace a long time to get from end to end. And it's filled to the brim with castles and supply camps, which I'll get to shortly. So you have 3 factions that are warring for control over this island. But when I say island, it's like a big-ass island, right? Like, it's massive. And probably, at a guess, I would say it's bigger than a zone in New World. Bigger than that. And they're all warring for control over this island. So there's continuous PvP all the time, because you don't go to Cyrodiil unless you're willing to fight. You go to Cyrodiil to fight for your faction. And so what you try to do is you try to overtake these castles, and you try to take these supply camps. And the more castles and supply camps your faction owns, the more points they get. And then those points are tallied up every hour, and then the faction that has the most points at the end of each month wins. And then you get, depending on where your faction came, you get like all these rewards. If you're in the winning faction, you get better rewards than if you didn't win. So, yeah, huge PvP map, and you know, like you have like big zergs running around where people are like trying to take out the castles and win for the faction. You'll have like small skirmishes of people like fighting over supply camps, you know, people that don't want to be a part of the big zerg. And then you've got people that are like, you know, 1v1 and 1vxing, where people just go out solo and try to get like these fights and stuff. And that's the cool thing also about ESO and Cyrodiil in particular, is the ability to 1 or 2vx in that game is huge. A lot of people will stick to the zerg, and so they're not like you can usually pull people out and fight. I mean, I've seen people fight up to 8 to 10 people at the same time if you use the train ride and all that kind of stuff. Like, the ability to just do what you want and do the PvP you want is huge. But as I said, even though it was the best PvP I ever had, that lag just kind of destroyed it. But anyway, so we thought, well, what we'll do is we'll play a class that's kind of lag friendly. So one that I will hit my shots even though I have high ping, like a Sork, which is like your ranged mage kind of thing. Kind of different though. They can be quite aggressive. So we logged in and we sort of had fun leveling. This is me and Jack. We hit Cyrodiil, and then we hit the lag. We hit huge, and we disconnected, and we kept disconnecting every time we logged into Cyrodiil. So it was obviously we were disconnecting because of the lag between New Zealand and America. And so this is when we realized that we'd actually committed in our heads to play this game, because we were so disappointed, because we were like, man, like I just was like, this was the game I decided I wanted to play. I was like excited to be playing it again, and then I couldn't even log in. But then I kind of had an idea, and I just want to say, this is not sponsored, okay? So I'm not bringing this up because I'm trying to sell this to you. I'm just saying, we decided to try exit lag. I decided to try exit lag to sort of stabilize the connection, and oh my god, it actually worked. We were able to connect into the game, go to Cyrodiil, and we stopped getting connected out. And we knew it worked instantly because Jack didn't have it, and I had it, and he got kicked out 3 times in the space of 10 minutes, and I was just playing in the biggest zerg you could find, happy as Larry. So then he got exit lag and he stopped getting disconnected. So it 100% worked, but that wasn't even the best part. The best part was that our ping dropped to 150. Now that might not sound low like for the Americans, but for someone in Australia and New Zealand, that's pretty damn good ping. And what it meant was, when I stood in front of someone and I swung my sword or whatever at them, it hit them. And that's all I ever wanted. And so it's like, they've also done, ESO have done a lot of work recently to fix the server lag in the game, so it feels really smooth. Like, the ping problems were resolved. I honestly don't feel like I'm losing out. Like, I feel like as if I was playing New World with 50 ping. I can't, at 150 ping doesn't really feel that much different to me. Like, if I stand in front of someone, I'll hit them. And that's, I mean, that's all I want, right? I guess maybe I might miss some, because, you know, you have dodging and blocking and all that, just like in New World. I guess sometimes I might get caught out by something, but I think you can overcome it if you're sort of a bit more predictive and you play better. But honestly, I'm not noticing too much of a difference. So this is kind of like what we always wanted. We were always like, this would be the ultimate game. And then I was thinking, man, well, now I get to play this game like with like the ping resolved. So that sort of like reopened up all my possibilities, because one of the things was I was like, oh man, I've always wanted to play a Nightblade. I did play a Nightblade for years, but what sucked about it was I kept missing every time I tried to hit. Now I can hit. So I wanted to see where I could take it. So I sort of tried playing with a sorcerer. I tried playing with a Dragon Knight, which is like your big melee kind of tanky boy. But in the end, I came back to the Nightblade. The Nightblade, by the sounds of it, you can probably guess, is like the rogue. It has stealth. It's a cool class. It's your assassin archetype. And Jack went back to his Sork, so we brought the old duo back together, which we have actually got videos on my YouTube channel where we used to play as the Nightblade and the Sork, and we brought the duo back together. So, oh, we've had so much fun. It's been really cool. But mostly it's just been really, really refreshing. I think, like, the cool thing that I appreciate about the Elder Scrolls is that they had multiple RPGs before the Elder Scrolls games, before they released the MMO. You know, they had Oblivion, they had Morrowind, they had Skyrim. So it has like a really, really rich storyline, and it has like an invested community that really was into those games before it came out, and there's a lot of history behind it, right? Almost, not quite, but almost Star Wars or Lord of the Rings level of like, not that big, but that kind of investment from the fans was really there. And I kind of also, what I really like about it, this might piss some people off that watch New World, is it's full of MMO players. And I feel like New World sometimes attracts the FPS crowd, not the MMO players. And I feel like the FPS crowd, you know, they're the ones that'll piss their pants because there's an expansion coming and now they have to grind for new gear, right? Or you know, and it's just kind of like, as an MMO player, I'm not used to that, because it's kind of like, yeah, that's what happens in an MMO. They release expansions, you grind for new gear. That's kind of the point. So, and you also, I don't know, I just find a lot of the people in New World 2 can just be like, I don't know, just kind of like dick measuring contest kind of stuff, just twats sometimes. Whereas I feel like in ESO, they're more kind of nerdy MMO players, which I like. You might get the occasional people literally typing meow in global chat, cosplaying as the cat race, which is the Khajiit. But hey, that's a small price to pay, and it's kind of funny. So, you know, they're living their life. So, there's multiple expansions to play through. Like, you've got, in terms of if you wanted to do the storyline, my god, you'll be there. Well, that's what me and my duo partner intend to do, is like, we're going to do PvP. Quite addicted to it at the moment again. But we are going to run through all of the major storylines, which is kind of cool, and it'll take a long ass time. Races mean something. Like, there's cool races. There's like Dark Elves, High Elves, Wood Elves, Khajiit, Argonians, Breton. Like, there's so many Imperials, which are like Romans. There's so many races, and they all are Orcs, and they all have like different bonuses they give you, which are actually meaningful. So, but they're meaningful, so if you wanted to be min-max, you would pick the race that was best for your class, but it's not necessary. So, I, for example, want to play like a roly-poly Nightblade that runs around and stabs people in the back and is like really evasive. So I'd want to pick something like a wood elf, which has like increased movement speed. It has lots of stamina, because every time you dodge roll, you use stamina, just like a New World. Well, actually, New World's like ESO, because came after. So it's like you want to have something that has lots of stamina, blah, blah, blah. So you want to pick something like the wood elf. But you could theoretically play an Argonian Nightblade and be like one of the only Argonian Nightblades on the server, and you'd still be like 95% there, but you just wouldn't be quite there, you know what I mean? So I like that. And I also like that it's like an action combat kind of MMO hybrid. So you can't just tab target someone and press a button and expect it to hit. You still have to move your mouse over the target before you like press the button to attack them. So if they're moving around you, you can actually find it hard to hit them. But you're not having to fire, like, if you hover your mouse over them and then you hit the tab target, it'll hit them. So I kind of like that. It's like as an MMO player myself with no FPS background, I'm down with that style of play. And it looks like all the MMOs that are coming out in the future will be doing something similar to that, not the New World, you know, where you have to like literally aim like you're in an FPS game. So, yeah, why improve my aim when I don't need to? So, it's pretty. It's not a downside, but it is pretty oppressive when you start with no champion points and you level it up. So I played on Xbox. Okay, so the history is I played on PC and I had lots of championship points, but I've forgotten my password. I could get it back, but then I went and played Xbox with my friend, Jack, and then we decided to come back to PC, but he was going to have to level like from the ground up. So I was like, well, I'll just make a new account and do it with you because, you know, like, just seems more fun to do it together. So I'm re-leveling with no championship points. And when you have no championship points, so the way the game works is you get to level 50 and then you have your championship points that goes up to 1,000, and it takes probably months to get there. It doesn't take as long as you think, but it does take a while. And when you're at low CP, you get ruffle stomp, like you can get one shot. But, you know, it's just the way it is. It's an MMO after all. There's always going to be a little bit of a grind, you know. If you don't like grinds, probably not going to be the game for you. There's so much build diversity and theory crafting. Like, the amount of sets in the game is kind of crazy. And obviously, when they release an expansion, they'll try to make the best sets available there. But, yeah, like, yeah, so much diversity in the sets. Like, way more than New World. So the theory crafting is kind of endless. Oh, and another little thing is that ESO players respect the 1vx, which I appreciate. If you're out there and you're kind of having a 1vx, most ESO players, or at least most good ESO players, will leave you alone. They're kind of like, okay, he's having his fight, I'll let him have his fight, I'll go do my own thing. Unlike in New World, where like if you're having a 1vx, every fucking player, every 5-man will come and try to hunt you down, you know, to get that kill. Whereas like in ESO, they're probably like, we've got more important things to do, like trying to take over castles. So I kind of like it. I kind of like that. I went back to New World after playing in Cyrodiil for a while, and I did play it, and I sort of said to Jack when we went in, either this is gonna like, we're gonna come back and be like, oh, I really missed this was fun, or, you know, we're gonna know whether we're playing New World as our main game right now or ESO. And yeah, we did, and it was definitely not New World. Going from Cyrodiil, which is like huge PvP map with like wars happening between factions and battles all the time, to one battleground OPR map that you can hardly get queues for, and fighting the same people for 2 hours a night, it was just like, okay, no. So now having said all that, I will come back to New World, so I'm not leaving it, but I need a break, obviously, because I'm a bit burnt out, and there's no content coming out on it anyway. So, for now at least, ESO, the Elder Scrolls Online, is the main game. And let me know what you all think, and I'll probably be posting some stuff. I do want to post some stuff on New World though, so I wouldn't say that I'm giving up on it completely. I'm sure we will play on New World soonish. Anyway, thank you everyone. Just thought I'd give you an update, and I'll see you all again very shortly.